Well, hello, another week, another flower, and it's daisies this week. And what a difference they've made to the floral arrangement on my coat. It really made a great big impact for such a simple flower. And today I've got something a little bit different as well, because I've developed a new technique, well, new to me anyway, for almost doing a colonial knot with one hand. Because, well, I'll let you watch the video and you'll find out why. So I hope you enjoy it. Well, just as I was about to arrange my coat and get ready to pick my colours, I dropped my whole box. And now it's just a pile that I've picked up off the floor. So, oh crikey, I need a good sort out. Never mind, I'm going to pick the colours I need for today, which are not very many. I'm going to get white. There's two whites there, cream one and a really white one. Oh crikey, yellows. I don't even know where to go for them. Golds and lots of green. I'll just have to pick the green as I need to use it, I think, because it's a big mess. I haven't had a big mess like this for a long time. Just put it to one side. I'm also picking plenty greens out of my tangle because I feel I'll be able to use them up. That's a lovely colour, but that's wool, and I don't want to add any wool to my coat, because if it gets washed, crewel wool can shrink quite a lot, and I don't want the risk of that happening, which is why I'm not been using any crewel wool on my coat. I'll see what else there is and then I'll set up to start sewing. Well, I've got my supplies. It's a bit of a mess, but I'm sure I'll manage. And I'm going to be doing oxeye daisies today, and I think it'll be quite a quick tutorial because I'm going to do them in a couple of different ways. I've got some white silk ribbon, so I'll do some silk ribbon daisies, and I've got three lovely cottons here. These two are pearl cottons. This one's quite fine, that's a bit thicker, that's a bit creamier, and that's very white. And then I've got a soft cotton as well. I may use all of them. And I'm going to do various different techniques. So I want to do my main flowers with detached picots, and I'll do some of the flowers with ribbon embroidery, and some I may do in satin stitch or chain stitch. Now I have done detached picot daisies before. Here one is in my fabric flower book, and I'll put a link in to the playlist for the flower book, because there are all sorts of things in here that you might be interested in. But I'm going to make my main daisies in the same way as this, because I really love the way this is, and so I'll be doing that among whatever else. So to get started, I think before I lay in any stems, I actually just want to put the flowers in, and then the stems can get laid down through the coat, down through the other things. But I think it's important to get the flowers placed in the right direction rather than leading the stems up first. And so I'm going to, I think I'll do some ribbon ones first. Just going to use a needle with a fine point but a decent long eye that I can get my ribbon through the eye. I'm then going to puncture the end of the ribbon and pull it back, which means that I'm not wasting ribbon on a tail. And I'm going to use quite a long piece. I think I'll use half of this one, and I can just sew through the bottom instead of a knot. I'll just loop the ribbon together and sew through it. And that gives me a little starting, and then it's just find out where to put the flower. I have actually added another stem to the foxgloves, so you can see this one here I've laid in coming from there. I feel as if I want to put a third one in, and I do have a couple of spare flowers still here, so I could actually add them on. I'm just waiting to see how it comes together, but I've been putting detached picots on for the leaves, and I've got some stamens to add on for the flowers that are spent and gone over, and a couple of more leaves to add. But I'm going to hop through to the summer panel first. I think maybe I'll put my first ribbon daisy just here. I'll just take a soft pencil and I'm just going to draw myself a circle, just so I don't go right down to the middle, and I leave enough room for the stamens in the middle. And then I'm going to make the petals about 1/2 inch. I think that'll make a good sized daisy in comparison to the poppies. And I'm going to lay my ribbon and go down through the middle of it. And when I pull that in, I'll just gather my coat up a bit. I'm in such a mess here now, honestly. I need a whole day just to tidy up. Oh, probably I need a week actually. Oh dear. I'll just say it's a creative mess, but it is a mess, and I just need to do a video about tidying up, I think. Anyway, I'm going to pull that in, and as it comes in, I don't actually want a particularly sharp pointed petal, and so I'm not going to pull it right to a point. What I am going to do is I'm going to put the petals in on the 4/4, because it'll help me radiate them out quite nicely. So I'll come down to this one and do my, this would be easier in a hoop, but never mind, I'm not putting it in a hoop. I'll lay my thread, lay my ribbon, down I go. If I do that on all 4/4 and then round on the 1/8, and then I can just sort of be freehand after that. But what it means is that my daisies won't look wayward. And this really is simple. It's not hard. You can do it with silk ribbon or polyester ribbon. Either will work well. I have silk ribbon here. I actually don't think I've got any polyester in white, but I'd happily use it if I did have it, and if I'd brought it to my needle. Lay the stitch, anchor it down, aim to get them all the same size, because I've got a petal facing me. When I do the petals that are sort of going downwards or upwards, or you've got a different angle of view, then it won't matter to me. Okay, and down it goes. And so now I'm going to go back into the bottom, and I'm going to fill all of these in. Now I could, if you're worried about getting them all radiating nicely, you could go straight and do the 1/8 and go all the way around and then in again. But I'm actually just going to do them wherever I think. And I'm going to do some longer, some shorter, because I'm trying to do something quite natural. And all the while, I'm just going to make sure that the petals are aiming to the middle. This is really going to brighten this area of my coat up, I think. This wasn't the original colour of linen that I wanted to have, but it's working very well as a background. When I was first on the hunt for a colour for the coat, I actually wanted a mossy green, and I looked all over. I looked online. I couldn't particularly find the colour, but it was expensive. And then when I was at the shows, I looked all over for just a lovely mossy green. Couldn't find anything. And then I saw this and I thought, well, it's not mossy green, but it is nice. And actually it's working so well. Maybe a mossy green wouldn't have shown up the leafy greens quite as well. So I'm going to get this one in entirely. and then that'll be my first daisy on. But you can see I'm not really trying to even them out or anything. I'll just make different spaces between the petals, and I might go around and do an extra row so some are on top of each other. But that'll be my first daisy going in, and already I love it. So I'll finish that off, and I might do another one. Well, the 3 ribbon daisies have already made a lovely difference to the poppy area, and I've just drawn some circles on in the places I feel I would like some more. And so I'm going to start with this one here, and I've got pearl cotton in my needle, and I'm going to do detached picots. So I've done detached picots before, so I'm just going to go with showing you a little bit of a different way that I've been handling them. And it's making them in the same way, but then I take the pin out early. And it may be just because I'm doing them larger, I don't know, but it's working really well for me. So I'm going to start off by coming up on the edge of my flower middle. I know how large I want my picot to be. Just going to use a needle, and I'm going to go out to how far I want it to be. Just put my needle in there. Usually it could be a pin or anything, it doesn't matter. And so I'm going to take my thread around there. I'm going to pick up a little piece here for the base of the petal. Now I'm doing it in the same way as I did the little leaflets here. But on here I kept the base really narrow. So on here I'm going to just widen out the base a little bit, so I do definitely get a petal. Pull that in, go back round the needle, and then I'm ready for my first weaving. And I'm going to make that one go in the middle, so I'm going to go under, over and under, and it'll set my weaving threads, and pull it right up to the needle and back for proper weaving. So I went under this one, I have to go over it this time, so I'll just pick up the middle and come back through. Keep it all up to the top of the needle. I'll do one more pass like that. So I've definitely got my weaving started, and now this is where I've been changing the way I've been doing them, because all of a sudden I thought, oh, I just don't want that needle to be in the way, or the pin. I took the pin out entirely, took the needle out, and now what I'm doing is I'm holding on to the top of the picot. So now I can just pull on that picot there, pull all the weaving right close up to the end, and I just hold the tension, and I'm going to go back and forth doing a normal picot, but this time I'm not even got the pin in. I just go back and forth, and it just not only seems quicker, but it just seems to be more even for me, and I can keep the weaving pulled up nice and tight. And you still have to make sure that you're not pulling a waste in if you don't want a waste in your petal. And so I'm aware that I'm just weaving, and I want that petal to go down nice and straight. But it just seems easier to do it like this. So I'm just going to weave back and forth like that. My threads are not even lying on the coat anymore. Weave in, pull them up just by doing that, and there they are, nice and tight, making my lovely petal. I'm just going to carry on until I've got it all filled up. I definitely will link you to the fabric flower book, because it's actually doing, it's where I'm actually doing a daisy. I think it was the first time I'd ever shown the picots on my channel, I think. But look at that, that's just coming out beautiful. It's because they're all just getting pushed up in a lovely way. I found it actually quite a nice way of doing it. But again, as I say, it could be just because I'm doing it in such a big scale. If you were doing them really tiny with finer thread, then likely this wouldn't be easier. But if you're doing something with a bigger scale, and I mean they'd be lovely if you were doing them in yarn or anything, you could do really massive ones. It would be great. So now it's really obvious where I need to tighten it up. As I get down to the bottom, make sure they're all there. They are. I'm going to get one more stitch in and have a look at it. Ah, that's beautiful. It's maybe a little bit thicker than I need, so I might pull the next one in tighter. I'm just going to go down, anchor it down and come up to do the next one. And when I get a whole circle of them, again I'm going to do them a bit further apart and then fill in with another round. So here I go in for the next one. I'll just use my needle to go around for the first few times. Pick up a little bit at the base. Back around the needle and start weaving. It's really important that your first few passes of weaving are really tight up to your needle or your pin, because this sort of sets the scene for everything else. So I'll just do 1 or 2 passes and then I'll shove them right the way up. I'll do one more and then I'm going to take my needle out and carry on as I did before. Hold on to it and again I'm just going to weave it backwards and forwards. I think I'm going to make a bit of a narrower petal this time. Pull it a little bit further in. It's just started pouring down. I'm so pleased that while I was away, because I've been away for my anniversary, I had a lovely 2 or 3 days in Northumberland and the weather was pretty decently beautiful. Of course I've come back and it's raining. I'm supposed to be doing some gardening, but I'm not in the pouring rain. Right, well I think you can get the idea, and it is just the same picots as that I did for the foxgloves, and so I think I'm just going to hop forward until I've got some more of my flowers in and I'll be back to do the middles and the stems, because you probably don't need to watch me do multi dozens of detached picots. But you can see how lovely, and actually doesn't take a huge amount of time. I'm going to pull that in and narrow it to the base a little, and then that's the second one done already. Well, I like that. It looks a bit funny at the moment, but I know that it's going to be perfect. So I'm going to go away and complete 2 or 3 flowers maybe. Well, it's the next day and I'm about to show you making the middles of the daisies, but I'm going to show you a bit of a technique that I've developed over just doing this, and it's because I'm not embroidering in the hoop. In your hoop, if you're doing a French knot, you have both hands free, one with your needle, one to wrap your thread. And when you're working in the hand, you don't have that. And so I'm always putting my coat down, picking it up again. And it's not about trying to be faster, it's more about the flow of work. I feel it's interrupting my flow. So I've been trying to do one-handed, and it was a disaster. I can't do a French knot one-handed, but I have developed a way of doing a colonial knot, almost one-handed. So I'm going to show you that now, and I'll fill in the centres while I'm on. So I've put quite a lot of daisies on now, and I've been doing either ribbon ones or detached picot ones or embroidered with either soft cotton or pearl cotton ones, and I like them all. And I've been doing the middles. Now I've got 4 strands of this gold in my needle to start and make an outer ring of French knots, and then I'm filling in with a paler yellow. When I'm saying French knots, I'm actually doing colonial knots now. And the issue, I'll show you what the issue is. So when I'm doing a French knot in the hoop, I have the fabric is held, and I can then use both hands to wrap my needle, but the fabric is taut, so when I go to put it down, I'm not having to then pick everything up again and get myself set and pull the knot to the bottom before I can pull it through. And there's nothing wrong with doing that, but for me it just sort of interrupts the flow while I have to do that. And when I put my needle down again, there's nothing held because I'm holding onto the thread to keep it taut. So then I have to let go, pick everything up, tighten it and pull down. And it was just bothering me a lot. See, that's a bit of a sloppy knot because I put everything down again. So I have tried and tried to make a one-handed French knot. Not quite one-handed, but where I didn't have to keep putting my right hand up on top again. And I have tried holding and wrapping, and I never seem to get the tension because I'm always having to do that. So I thought, well, try colonial knots. And that took me a while too, but I have got a technique. So colonial knot is wrapped in a different way. I'll just sort my fabric out. Colonial knot's wrapped in a different way. For a left-hander, I have to get a C shape like that and put my needle through and then wrap the needle clockwise, and I get a figure of 8 on the top, which I then tighten up and put my needle down. And again, it's that, lift everything up again, get my thread held, and then pull the needle. So if any of you out there who are more working in the hand than I usually do, because I'm normally working in a hoop, if you have a way of you quicken that up. But for me, I needed to find another way of doing it, and I have found it. So I'm holding my coat. I need to make that C shape, but I make it by wrapping my thread with my thumb like that to get some tension. So my right thumb has come in to get the tension. My needle goes in, and then while my thumb has the tension, I can wrap over, go down, my right thumb still holding the tension, and then I can pull my needle through. And I've kept the tension all the way. And so it's about not interrupting the flow of work. I'll do that again. So I'm getting the thread round my right thumb, bringing my needle in, so there's the C shape that I'm making as a left-hander. I'm going in, hold the tension, hold the wrap, back in to go over and down. And so my right hand is not having to let go of everything. I'm not having to re-tension everything. And I'm finding it a really nice way of working. If I could work out that way of doing a French knot, well, I'd show you. But I've been able to do it for the colonial knot. So I'm going to try and show you right-handed. It'll be sloppy, but I'll try my best. So on a right-hand colonial knot, you're making a backward C and going in under like that. So I'm going to hold my thread round my left thumb. I'm going to come in like this. So there's my C shape there. I come in like that, hold my tension, wrap back over and down, and then my right hand can go under, and I've already lost the tension because I'm not right-handed and I can't really do it, but I'll try and do it again for you. I'll just have to put my needle up with my left hand. So there I am up to the top. If you think that a more clear tutorial with thicker thread would be helpful, you'll have to let me know. So here we go. Here's my left hand is now holding my work, my thumb's here, my needle and thread. There's the C shape that you need to go in for a colonial knot. So I'm going to just let my left thumb come in. I'll go in with my needle. The tension is with my thumb. I wrap the thread back over, still holding the tension. Put my needle down. And then once I've lost my tension again. That is just because I'm left-handed. You have to try it for yourself. And then you pull the knot down. I'm afraid that's the best I can do for right-handed. And so I'll show you once more left-handed, which is so quick for me, which it will be for you when you are a right-handed person doing it the right-handed way. But for me, that's been an absolute game changer for not putting down my coat and having to retension everything for every single knot. So I'm going to just tidy that off and get my pale colour in. It's paler yellow, still 4 strands in the needle. I'll show you once more with my left hand and then I'll finish everything off. So I'm putting my right thumb in, I get my needle underneath, wrap back over the top, down, and my thumb brings the tension. And so not quite a one-handed knot, but almost. C shape, wrap over, back down, thumb holding the tension. It makes the flow of work so much easier than having to keep sort of coming back up on the top, letting everything go, pulling my right hand up. There's a French knot there. This is the bother that gets me, is the fabric isn't under any tension at all when I try to put my needle down. And so then everything gets put down so I can tighten it up again. If I could work that out, I would do, but I can't. It just doesn't seem to. I can't get the tension on the thread enough. So colonial knots for me in the hand in the future. Anyway, I'm going to finish all of my middles off and then I'll show you the whole thing at the end. May be able to get outside. It's been so rainy since I've come home from my little time away. I haven't managed to do any stitching outside at all. So those colonial knots are looking pretty good there. Well, I'm actually dodging what I think are rain clouds just so I can do my reveal outside because I know the colours are better than in the house, which is a little bit dark when it's overcast. Anyway, my daisies are finished and what a difference they've made. I shall stand up so you can see. There's the wind coming a bit. I think they've really made a difference to the whole area with the poppies on. And of course I have added another stem to the foxgloves. There may be one more as well, but I'm not sure. I've also led some stems up here so that the daisies can end up coming through this area too. I just didn't get enough time to finish them off. But I think they're all looking good. And I just want to say thank you so much to everyone for all the lovely, lovely messages I had about my birthday live stream and all the happy birthday wishes. It was absolutely phenomenal. I'm just so sorry that the live chat isn't available. I was onto YouTube and I was onto their help. Somebody was corresponding with me over the next day to try and sort it out. But the fact is that I can't get it back on. It's not going to be available. So that's something I'll have to watch out for when I have another one, because I do know what the issue was now. They helped me find out what the issue was, and so I'll just have to do my best to not do what I did in the first place. Anyway, I did enjoy it, and it was a lovely end to my birthday. So thank you everyone who joined in and sent super thanks and all the lovely, lovely messages I had. You were all just absolute superstars. I'm just sorry that I didn't even get to read the live stream messages either. They were gone immediately after I'd finished. Within a few minutes, they were disappeared entirely. So I'm really sorry about that. The foxgloves, such a lovely messages about my foxgloves, and lots of people saying the coat should be going on display. I never started it for something like that. I really just wanted to make myself a pretty coat, and I knew right from the start what I wanted it to look like. And the vision is becoming a reality, and I'm enjoying seeing it come together just as much as I'm sure you are seeing me do it. In fact, I'm probably seeing it more because I've had it in my head for so long that that's what I wanted to do. And so maybe I'll look into it, but never had any exhibitions of anything before. I'm not quite sure how to go about it, but maybe I'll find out. In the meantime, I'm really happy that you're enjoying watching as the whole thing comes together. Since I've come back from my little time away, I've seemed to have been behind with everything. I've got the willow for the willow handbag soaking in a bag in the polytunnel. So I'm hoping to do that this afternoon when I've finished filming all of this video. That would be quite nice if I could get on with that. And I'm a bit behind with the garden too, because it all just went to pot when Naomi was here. And of course we were doing mum and daughter things and going out and about and having a lovely time. And then straight from that I've been away for my anniversary. So I need to get back into some sort of a routine. Not a boring routine, but some sort of a routine where I can do my stitching, do my gardening, do my videos, do my knitting and do everything. At the minute I just feel a bit haywire at the moment, so it's just one of those things. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed seeing that. Please let me know if you feel that my almost one-handed technique for a colonial knot is helpful to you, and if you think it is, whether it would be helpful to make a dedicated little video with more plain fabric so you can see exactly how to do it. And I could practice a bit more with my right hand to see if I can show you a right-handed way as well. But I've got really quick with it, doing it in my left hand as soon as I could get the idea of what I needed to do. And it is all about keeping the fabric and the thread under tension all the time and not having to just pick up and put down instead. With that, I just say thank you. Thanks very much for everything, comments, the whole lot. You know the drill. Please press me the like button. And I've just been finding out about these hype points. So if you want to give me a hype, please do so. Yes, I knew it was coming, but I didn't realise when, and it just seemed a bit odd to me, but I've been getting told that people have been hyping my video already, so carry on. Do whatever it takes. I'm all for that. Thanks so much, and bye till next time. Next time you drop in to see how my coat's coming along, or maybe it'll be the willow handbag, or maybe it'll be something else. You'll just have to tune in and find out.